Hello and welcome to the One People Show.
Hello, welcome everyone to this week's One People Roundtable with myself and Danny over there and Nick in the background, taking away at all.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Monday. It sucks. Just saying.
Or Tuesday.
Or Tuesday. Why it's Tuesday for you? That's true.
I can't tell you how Tuesday is yet because it's just begun.
Oh, yeah.
But last week has been funky in general.
The last 4 hours has been funky in general. Be glad you slept through it.
Why? What's happened in the last 4 hours? Does the world change again while I slept?
No, I'm ignoring the world right now, and I'm doing a really good job. You should be so proud of me. I'm totally fucking ignoring it. Nothing exists outside of my apartment, and occasionally the store down the street. That's it. No, just energetics today were just, everything was kind of okay until around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, my time. Like 9 o'clock in the morning Eastern, and like everything just went all fucking sideways, upside down, inside out. But I'm here. I managed to keep myself up and going. And Lisa's got her own distraction, I see.
Boy, Jessie just walked in.
Hi, Jessie.
How you doing?
Peach Keen, dude.
You want a coffee or something? Oh, yeah. Help yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll just be helping himself to coffee
Well,
in the background.
It's what friends do.
That's right. Okay. All right. The world has gone even crazier than it was previously. Apparently, there are consistent upgrades to the level of craziness.
And just to forewarn you, you know all those links that you dropped into our Skype room that we used to prepare for the show? Yeah, I didn't even look at them. I haven't even opened Skype. I'm sorry. I just went, oh, right. I was supposed to do some homework. Oh, whoops.
Well, I could just play them for everybody because brain not functioning, recapping English, all that stuff.
What's clapping?
That's all right, there's coffee.
Jesse, behave, or I'm going to 6 Sienna on you.
I sent it off to school like a good little munchkin.
But the thing that I found the most interesting, that was kind of forced upon me because Ben was like playing the video in my face. Look at this. Was Trump banning lobbyists from Washington.
Which I heard in the news, and I thought, well, that's kind of interesting.
That's not just kind of interesting. That is painting the target on his forehead himself.
Yeah.
That's like, just don't miss, boys. It's right there.
Yeah. You don't need a laser sight. Here, let me just paint you a red dot right smack here.
Yeah. I mean, holy shit. So the way I keep, for me, there's only one of two things going on here, right? Either there has been a shift and they have completely lost control of the game for Trump to have won, or it's going absolutely according to script as per usual. He's obviously being used at this point as an excuse for all of this so-called writing and, all these people in tears and, you know, needing counselling and God knows what.
Little crybabies. Oh my God. I don't know what to do. Oh, fucking.
I need my safe place. Where's my blankie?
I need my safe place. I'm so offended. Oh, I'm gonna go suck my thumb in a corner and get grief counseling. Seriously?
And if it is going according to the plan, then he will get sworn in and then assassinated. But and make as much noise between now and then as possible, like saying all lobbyists are banned from DC for 5 years, and I can't. My head just can't conceive of anything else at this point.
Yeah, I agree with James. James just said his general dude, the general he's just named for whatever, I can't even remember the post, is a lobbyist for Turkey. So he says he's just picking which lobbyists are going to get access. The people he's announced that are going to be part of his, I don't know, what do they call it in the US? In Canada, we call it the cabinet. I don't know what they call it in the US. What is it?
Saying in the US, isn't it?
The ministers, they're the high uppity dudes, right? They're all fucking, like, seriously, these are the people who are the most disgusting human beings on the planet. I'm like,
hang on, the guy that isn't the guy he's talking about, Trey, whatever. He's talking about posting it, or appointing, I should say, as Governor General? No, not an Australian term. What's
that's a Commonwealth term. I don't know what. This is what happens when you get an Aussie and a Canadian talking about American politics.
That's right. Wow. Trey something or other, Attorney General. He's the guy who wanted to rip Hillary to shreds. And kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and it's the one who, I believe, had the investigation reopened. So, I mean, it's a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and in terms of his cabinet. But I don't know.
I haven't been following it. I saw 3 or 4 people that were named, that he had apparently named, and I was just literally doing a facepalm going, you have got to be kidding. Secretaries, is that it? Is that what they're called? Secretary of Defense, Secretary of State, Secretary of whatever, whatever. Okay, thank you. There we go. There's the terminology I was looking for. Hi, Ben. Ben. Oi, Ben.
Ben is in the house.
Yeah. And Jesse's in the house, literally.
He's actually in the house, yes. Ben's just in there watching and he's in the chat room.
All right. Hey, good morning, Ben.
PR, This is really weird.
It just the whole overall, and look, this is the one thing to remember, okay? Because I know a few people, one person in particular, and you know who I'm talking to. I see you. Gets all upset when we start talking about Trump. Okay, you're talking to an Aussie and a Canadian. We don't have any skin in the game. We're not Democrats. Fuck off, fly. We're not Republicans. We're outside observers, just watching it play out. We don't have, and I really don't have any skin in the game because I'm not even in North America anymore, thank God, right? All we can do is watch it all play out. And it's insane. The way it's playing out is completely insane. That's the commentary. We'd be having the same conversation if it was Hillary who got in. The way everything's playing out.
Having the same commentary if we were talking about Australian politics. So
yeah, we did have the same commentary when we talked about Australian politics. It's insanity. What's going on in England politically? It's fucking insanity. What's going on in Australia in politics? It's fucking insanity. The Philippines. I mean, We're talking mass insanity all over the world politically. Literally, it is insane. And yeah, Tony, distraction. Sorry, say that again.
Let's take a little poll here. A or B? A is they're completely losing control of the game, and it's just devolving, and everybody's running around with their like little chicks with their heads cut off. Or B, script, change of script. A, B, B, A, okay.
Wait, I'm trying to type mine in and it's not typing. I want to join the game. Wait, here we go. There we go. A and a bit of B? And I agree, Diane. I do think it's A and a bit of B.
It's actually, from what I can see, it's looking 50-50. AB plus.
AB plus. Right. And we're going to get into this whole, like blood type thing again, because I'm not going there. B because of A. Good answer. B because of A. I like that, Gabby. Nice. It's just
in the middle of that one.
It's insanity. And like Nick will show me headlines, because I literally am not following anything. I haven't been on my wall on Facebook in weeks. I am not doing my usual going through the news, except like occasionally I open up RT and I just read the headlines. Just the headlines, go through. Nick will occasionally show me an article and go like, can you believe this? And you go, seriously? It's just, there's no other word except insane. Sorry, like there really isn't. Not to sound like a broken record.
Okay, well, Donna, myself, and Jenny did a video a month ago. Well, I think before. And just talked in that about becoming detached, and letting go of everything, actually. That's part of the construct. The hooks that have been somewhat aggressively shoved into us to keep us head down, bum up, focused on the matrix, in struggle, in survival mode, in keeping up with the Joneses mode, whatever it is, just. And we've seen this movement over the last sort of 4 years, since 2012, of people letting go in one way, shape or form, walking away from as much of the system as they possibly can. I've seen and felt that explode over the course of this year. And then in the last month or so, even more so again, there's been yet another push. And I guess the information that's come through from Lilo and crew has been along the same lines. And if we are the creators that we've talked about, if we are the energy systems that are running this structure, this construct, by withdrawing our energy, and I mean that in our literally spiritual energy, your life force, with your attention and intention, by withdrawing that, is that what's helping break this thing down? I mean, if we are the battery source, straight out of the movie The Matrix, if we are the batteries and we unplug, what happens to it? Because it doesn't seem to be operating very well. The little red light's going off. Warning, warning, warning.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger, danger. Yeah.
It started with 1 billion rising in 2013. What was that? I didn't even hear that.
Heard of that.
Is that on another timeline? Who cares? Let it fall apart. Well, yeah, that's my thoughts as well.
I'm gonna get some marshmallows.
If we've been calling for change, if we've been demanding change and transparency, I don't know how you guys do this, but I know that when I'm doing a spring clean of my house, the place looks like shit. It starts to look a hell of a lot worse before it starts to look better. Because you've pulled everything out of the cupboards and you've moved all the furniture and shit's everywhere. And is that what we have to do here? Is stuff going to get really messy before it starts to get better? So, and are we prepared for that? I mean, we want change and we want something better, but do we really think it's going to be a little skip down the yellow brick road into, flowers and sunshine?
No. Kicking and screaming the whole way.
It can be a nice transition because we have all the answers available to us to make it a nice transition.
We have all the answers, absolutely.
So,
but
from the powers that be, yes, they're going to go out kicking and screaming,
but people are going to go kicking and screaming too because they've got to let go of. You can't bring something new in without letting go of the old. And one thing we have got a little bit of a reluctance to do as a whole is let go of what we're comfortable with and let go of our norms and let go of our election.
But we're seeing that play out. I mean, we're seeing that play out even in the Unfuckers room. We've had multiple pieces of that play out. Seemingly almost in a rotation at points sometimes, where people come face to face with their own personal shit that they have to look at and they have to deal with. And the choice is theirs as to whether they're going to deal with it or they're going to throw a tanty and just storm out, right?
But excuse me. The video that we put out the other day, last week.
Friday. Something.
Yeah.
4 days ago. Before this show, but after the last show.
Yeah. Donna shared a story. And this is huge because even before I knew of Donna's story on this one, I've got messages in Facebook, I've got emails that go back to probably the beginning of October with people sharing the same sort of story. And including one woman who was completely freaked out thinking she was dead and didn't know she was dead, and reaching out because it was like, just tell me I'm still alive, please. And the theme of it is this, and that's what we talked about in that video last week, that this is a construct, it's a video game, it's a virtual reality, and that there is an outside of it that we've been calling home. And that for some, at least, they are in a physical body back there in home. And they are playing this game virtually, just like we do here, where we put on a helmet and visor and step into a game. And Donna shared an experience she had of spending 8 hours overnight, literally waking up in this other reality. Coming back and forth, and it was just as real, if not more so real, than this one. And when she woke up in this one, it felt like she was having a dream. And I can't tell you how many people are having these kinds of experiences. They're waking up in an alternate reality. It feels like they're coming out of anesthetic, perhaps, that weird sort of, I'm not quite awake thing. Seeing people around them, as if they're in a hospital type environment, but not, you know. Physical sensations that are very, very real. We talked about just collectively trying to literally wake up. The UU room and the LMH members are both spaces where people feel quite safe to come out and share these kind of experiences, which is awesome. And share things that they've never told anybody before. But these kind of experiences seem to have been going on for years for some. But there does also appear to be this huge wave of activity right now of people having memories coming up to the surface, a whole new brand of dreamtime experiences. There are themes running through this. I mean, I think I shared it myself, the feeling, hearing, I talked about it on the video, hearing wake up, not walk out, and ouch, I wasn't asleep. So it feels like the alarm clock is going off. Is the only way I can put this. And we've talked about these waves that come and go for years. You know, you feel this energetic wave just build and build and build and build and build, and then as it feels like it's about to crest and something amazing is about to happen, it just goes and bottoms out. But I think it's cresting right now. It doesn't feel like this one's going to bottom out.
Well, it's funny because since about Thursday or Friday, every single time that I've either laid down to go to bed at night, where you lay down and you're just in that state where you're still awake because you can still hear everything on around you, but you're just in that drifty space. Every single time I've sat down, and I've been doing actually quite a bit lately, finding just sitting quietly and just breathing and finding kind of my center and just kind of going in and trying to feel out, just allow myself to just kind of come into myself. Every single time in the last 4 days, I've had massive, energetic, whatever you want to call it, waves, experiences where it's either like feeling the vibrations to the point of you feel like you're almost going to fall off the bed or be raised above the bed, almost like hovering. And today, like I said, as I said before we started, my day was pretty much nonchalant for most of the day until about 3:30, 4 o'clock this afternoon. And it's just got really strange feeling. Like and it's one of those, you can't describe it. There's no words in the English language. You start to feel this, everything feels very strange. That the energies of the house felt strange. Just how you feel within your own body just feels off. And I started to get what I call like the adrenaline, where your stomach starts to get that feeling, like the kind of post-adrenaline rush type feeling in your stomach. And I was like, wow, I just was trying to cook dinner. And you're like, I can cut these vegetables. No, we're going to just go with a bag of frozen vegetables so I don't cut off a finger. And keep it really simple. And after dinner, I was like, okay, the kids were all sitting watching a cartoon. I was like, I need to just go have a moment. And I went and just sat on my bed and never went to sleep. Was listening for the kids. They were allowed 2 episodes before bed. So you got 1 year timing out the episodes going on, when the episodes end, right? Because they'll sneak another episode in if you're not on the ball. And I sat there and I just had just wave after wave. And just when you kind of go, okay, everything was just expanding. like you feel like your chest is expanding, everything is expanding outwards, and then all of a sudden it would be like another wave would come in and you'd be like, holy. And each and every time, when I come out of any kind of like meditation type thing anyways, I always get really kind of fucked up. My vision comes back quite fucked up. But for the last 4 days, Lise, I can't see anything when I open my eyes. Like everything is just completely fucked. Like I can't, my eyes won't focus anymore. I'm seeing all the, everything is moving around. It's all the like matrixy type fucking bullshit. And I was just like, today, I just went in and was just like, that's it. I'm so fucking done with this shit. I'm so done. So done with this fucking, all of the bullshit. And it was really, really interesting because the feelings that were coming, like what I was experiencing was just like waves of it. Waves of energy coming in and then expanding back outwards again. The English language sucks. I just want to say that.
Cosmic Kate says she's worried about driving, and I'm the same because there are times when I'm like, I really shouldn't be behind the wheel because
I had to walk to the store this morning.
Not behind the wheel.
When you remember, I was talking to Lisa this morning. They all had a good giggle because I'm talking to them for about 15 minutes. I'm like, well, I have to go to the store because I have no milk for coffee, and I was drinking coffee from last night. And I had to walk to the store at 8 o'clock this morning. And I swear to God, if anyone had a spy camera on me, I bet you they thought I was drunk. Because I was just like this, down the road. I was like, at one point, we have a very steep section of the road where it goes down around a corner. And it's real steep. And I was literally holding the handrail going, I'm just going to hold the handrail like a little old lady. Because if I don't, there's a good chance I'm going to fall down. Yeah. So yeah, driving, yeah, I mean, I don't drive, but I'll be fucked if I would get behind the wheel of a car with the way shit goes these days.
If anybody wants to come out and share anything they're experiencing, just put your hand up and I'll unmute you. Because I think one of the benefits of us getting together and talking like this is so that people don't feel like they are nuts or alone.
And if you're reading in the chat room, you're not alone because apparently everyone's going through a lot of shit.
Okay, what was that about the supermoon? Someone's been sick since the supermoon. Okay, so the other theme, in terms of themes that seem to be popular right now, is women in particular experiencing either menstrual-related issues or even, and this is women who even, they're past menopause, they've even had hysterectomies, it makes no difference.
Oh, yeah.
My personal take on this is that we are disconnecting from the moon matrix, so to speak. That's what I think's going on. I think that all that tech, because I now look at everything as tech. I've talked for months about the fact that I see circuit boards everywhere.
Yes.
It's all tech. What we see as planets is tech.
Manipulative, bullshit,
construct.
fucking control mechanism, fucktarded stupidity tech.
And I think the tech that was in the moon has started breaking down. And I think slowly but surely we are disconnecting from that. And it's getting physical. It hurts. Okay, we've got a couple of people with their hand up. All right, now, well, one at least. Yeah. Okay, Maria? Maria, who's on a phone?
Yes. Am I feeding back?
You are? A little bit.
What do I do?
Lisa, you may have to mute.
I'll just mute, yeah.
Am I feeding back now? Oh my God, what's going on? If I turn my volume down, that would help.
It's okay. I can stay muted, but you need to turn your speaker a little louder.
Yeah, Maria,
Right.
we can't hear you at all.
Hang on a minute. Oh, I've muted everything. Am I still feeding back?
No, you're not feeding back, but we just can't hear you.
Oh, is that better? Oh, okay. Yeah, right. In terms of code, you were saying I've been able to see buildings as not buildings, have just been like the Matrix, and that was probably before the Matrix came out. And
Can you talk up?
Maria, do you have a headset on?
what?
Do you have a headset on?
No.
I think she's on a phone.
Because your
Can I
voice
wear one?
keeps fading away, like maybe you're facing away from the microphone.
No, I haven't moved. I haven't moved at all. Hold on a minute. What can I do? Make it better. Can you hear me? Hello?
We can't hear you, Maria.
I cannot unmute myself.
No, you're unmuted.
No, you're unmuted, but you're so faint we just can't hear you.
Maria, I'll mute you again, and we'll get to someone else, and then we'll come back to you.
Okay.
You're muted still, Lisa, by the way, just so you know.
Oh, I unmuted Holodeck. Hello? Oh, okay, so we'll try Gabby, or Gabe. Gabby?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi. All of the above. I've been messed with very badly in my sleep. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Very well.
Okay. I have been having I'm very clairvoyant and clairaudient all my life. But I have been experiencing where they actually are external, as if it is right in my ear and not both in and out. If you guys know what clairaudient sounds like, it's in your head and out. This is very clearly outside of my head. And I have been woken twice. I had written in there, said to me like this: do you want to meet Jesus Christ? And I woke up like heart racing, like you said, like you're feeling these waves of energy that feel like a full-blown anxiety attack out of the middle of nowhere. And I happen to believe in Christ, in Christ consciousness. I'm not super religious. It's not something that I go to church and it would be like on my mind. I also had another experience where I went to put my cell phone above my head where I usually put it on a shelf. Voice comes in very strong, tells me to put the cell phone at the other end of the shelf because it's going to fall on me in the middle of the night. I'm like, what? I listened. I did it, and I swear to God, in the middle of the night, that phone fell really hard onto my lap. Woke my husband. My husband's like, what are you doing on the phone in the middle of the night? And I'm like, it fell into my lap. So whatever this voice is that's coming to me is very physical. And I don't know if this is like mind control, if it's aliens, if it's spirit, because I have action and activity in my house. But yeah, this is one of the reasons why I'm so glad I got to join you guys, because this whole thing with Lilu, I had an experience similar to where I had my mouse at one time, that's my granddaughter, took over the mouse and went to Skype, and I had this weird incoming Skype all of a sudden call, but I didn't answer it. Freaked me out, shut my whole computer down. And that was after me talking to my sister about keeping it open to see if our dad would type, because he's passed on. So this thing with Lilu is absolutely amazing. I think that it is a gift of like biblical proportions, seriously. Like it's phenomenal. But in my own life, I'm like experiencing all this, and I'm like, okay, is this mind control? Are they sending out waves? Are they messing with us? Then the whole Mandela effect, they're coming across that. I'm like, come on. Is it timelines? Yeah, I have a lot of out of body experiences as well, where I'm like just now walking out of my body and thinking I'm still there. And I realize I'm like, oh shit, I'm trying to walk up the stairs. Like running up the stairs because I get nervous, right? Something had moved in the house. I got very nervous. And with that, I went running up the stairs. My husband was already sleeping. Until I got the effect, if you guys ever saw a Poltergeist back in our day, like when the mom's running down the hall and then she gets to a point where she's running, but that hallway is extending. And I was doing that running up the stairs, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm not in my body. And I literally commanded myself to get back in my body. And I replayed that again, picked up and got my blankets again and ran up the stairs. So a lot of out of body, like spontaneous, a lot of.
I've had those experiences too.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
And this is increasing and increasing and increasing. In the last like 6 months, this has gone like off the charts. So when you said A or B, I really think that everything is not going the way that they want it to. So now they do have to do a rewrite, and that does have to do with collapsing timelines. It does have to do with the Mandela effect. It does have to do with the Matrix. It's all of it. It's all of it. And I think that's why, Lilu is able to come through, because we have we're in such a situation where what we used to know as the veil, whether it's CERN or ourselves or whoever, it's open. It's open. I just hope that more of the good comes in than the bad. But, it's almost like a test run. She's like a test run. I really do. And this group is very lucky to have had that experience. So, yeah, I just wanted to share that because it's just been so much craziness. Mm-hmm. And I've had all these experiences since I'm 5 years old, but this shit's off the charts. Like, off the charts. Bizarre.
Well, thank you.
Hmm?
Thank you for sharing.
And you know, my name is Gabby, right? Talk too much. I love you guys, though. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Gabby.
Thank you for that.
Well, you know what? That brings up something that's interesting, because I've had those experiences, the ones where they're not yours. The ones where that you're being tampered with or you're being fucked with from something external, whether it's beings, entities, whether it's in some kind of mechanical, technical fuckery, whatever. I've been through how you say, both. The things that you experience on the level that are coming in from, how do you even say it? Non-nefarious level, let's call it that way. And then the things that come in that are definitely external, someone fucking with you, right?
Oh, now is the time for discernment, because we've got so much going on.
Yeah.
We've got our own internal stuff that's just expanding and exploding and just, waking up. We've got the external that is, as you say, beneficial and friendly. And then we've got the external fuckery. People have actually asked me about some seeming contradictions in terms of the information that's come through from Lilu. One being the time frame for her getting a body, right? First it was 60 days and it was 23 days and then suddenly it was ready. But that coincided with the breakdown of the last few layers, that storyline. So when she first told us about it, it was 60 days. But as where we are and where they are started to line up closer and closer, and our timelines or our sense of time started to become more in sync. So it became 23 days and then it became like it's ready. So there's that. What else was there?
Yeah, time is very fucked right now. I agree with Penny on that. And it's just...
There was a conversation around with these guys from there that what it feels like to me, because I'm paraphrasing and I'm kind of putting it into my own words, but we talked about the Mandela effect being the collapsing of these other parallels and timelines, and that right now we're kind of in the last one. And what it feels like to me is a membrane. Like we're actually down to this, it's almost a gelatinous membrane that is the only thing between us and outside the construct now. And it's a place of no time. And I think it's a place where they actually don't have the control that they used to. Does that make sense? Because there's a picture in my head, but
use your big girl words, Lisa.
Yes, put my big girl.
Unfortunately, we only speak English, which is fucked. So, yeah,
but a membrane is the word that keeps coming, and it's
that thin.
visceral. You can actually, it's visceral even, like it's tangible. I can feel it, and it's like the programming, the data doesn't quite penetrate it as well as it does, or as well as it did above this membrane. We've even had people literally see with their eyes, their open physical eyes, what looks like coding in the sky. We've had people see that in dreams. Symbols and data just like streaming. But this goes into the time loopy stuff too. If we're in this place of this membrane space of no time, and they're trying desperately to try and program this space, it might explain what people are seeing in regards to these time loops. Like talked about somebody in the EU room seeing a little old lady walk to her car 4 times, or her son walk in the door twice. People are seeing that stuff, and I haven't experienced a time loopy thing yet, and I hope I don't, because it may tip me over the edge. But
I feel like I'm losing days.
Oh, I've lost months. I've lost half the year.
Well, I know. I mean, I'm sitting there going, it's the 21st of fucking November. Dare I say it, that horrible season is upon us again. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? But I mean, I literally woke up this morning, after I talked to you, Lise, and then you mentioned it in the call this morning. I was like, oh, and for the show this evening. And I was like, it's fucking Monday. How the hell did that happen? Wasn't the last show just 2 days ago? Like 3 days ago? How can it possibly be Monday again?
All right, I'm going to unmute someone. John, you're unmuted. Jensen? Do you want to be unmuted, or did you just mute yourself again? I've unmuted you if you want to come out. No? Okay. I will mute you again, and we'll move on to Zimba.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good, darling. How are you?
How are you?
Great. I'm actually very confused, and I probably speaking out because I'm sure I'm not the only person, but the concept of disinformation, it really hadn't occurred to me till recently, and I'm learning so much, and I'm seeing the effects of assigning intent to water and trying to create codes to clean my body. But there's just so much information out there that's pulling me in so many different directions. And I mean, I feel like I'm getting on a clear path with you guys, and I appreciate it. But there's just so much out there that's got me, I mean, it's just really, really feeling attacked. And I don't know, I'm sure I'm not the only person. I feel almost ignorant or naive. But I do appreciate you guys being there. I've definitely benefited from some of the ideas that I've learned from you all. And maybe I just want to show my gratitude there. Love you guys, and hopefully someone else can benefit from anything that I say.
Well, thank you. And you're confused, and that's fine, because, we all are.
Darling, we're all confused.
I just feel like you guys have a better handle on, and I'm, and I can pick it up just from being in your presence, I'm sure, but there's just so much false stuff out there that's pulling us away, and I fall into these traps, and I think, well, is it this? Is it that? Is it round? Is it flat? Is it Admiral Byrd, or is it John Teeter? And there's just so much out there, and it's just hard to pick through all the shit.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
that's one of the good things.
I don't look anymore. I don't really look anymore. I just talk shit with Dee.
You just chat now. I've given up on fucking rabbit holes.
So Dee and I and many of the people in this chat here have probably spent a good part of 20 years or more looking at all of this information and trying to discern the truth from the distortions or the outright lies. And Dee and I put a video out ages ago, months ago, as a result of all this huge influx of people who just kind of woke up thanks to the Mandela effect and wanting to go down every rabbit hole and try and figure it out and look for the answers. And where we are now, right now, it doesn't actually feel very relevant anymore. To focus on the history, to focus on the who did what and the when and the how. It's so much about this right now moment. I personally can't invest in it anymore. And I think to do so it's chasing your own tail. It's just a mind loop. It's taking you out of the now moment, which is where the answers are.
Agreed.
I
do have one funny thing I'd like to share with you. I've started doing this a long time ago, but it's about releasing bad energy and bringing in good energy. And it doesn't work in public bathrooms so well, because what I do is, as I'm urinating or whatever, I imagine all the negative energy and all the negativity leaving me. And then I'm doing deep breathing through my nose, bringing in new clean energy. But when you're in a public bathroom, it's a little disconcerting.
I can imagine.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. I'm going to keep
You're
listening.
welcome, hon. Thanks for coming out.
Love you all.
Oh, that was funny.
Got some guy in a stall doing really heavy breathing. What's going on?
Okay, we got Dawn.
Oh, hey, girl. I just wanted to
Hey, sweetie pie.
I wanted to bring up something that happened to me.
Dawn, can you talk? You're not very loud, love. We can't hear you very clearly.
Okay. Is that better?
Just a bit.
Okay. Okay, I'm up close. All right. So I would say, I guess I've been clean now 7 years in January. So this would have happened about 6 years ago. I was sitting in the backyard, and I have lots of dogs, and I'm hanging out, and I'm sitting on a bench where I have a clear visual of straight up the side of my house to the gate. There's a gate that goes to my backyard, and you can kind of see if somebody's walking up your drive. I mean, I just know what to look for. I've lived here a long time. So I clearly see my neighbor walking up my driveway, and my dogs see him, and they run towards the gate. And I'm like, oh, Kenny's here, right? So I get up and I walk into the house through the back door to the front door. I get there, and there's nobody there. Okay. So I'm like, okay, I go out there and look, there's nobody there. So I just come back in. I go to the very back of my house because I have my office back here. And I go to pick up my phone to call him. Well, right when I go to pick up my phone, he's calling me. The phone rings. He goes, hey, I'm in your driveway. And I'm like, what? So I walk to the front of the house again. He's walking up the driveway just like I just seen him do like 4 minutes earlier or whatever. And he comes to the front door, and I looked at him because I've known him a long time. I said, are you messing with me? And he just looking at me like, what? And I didn't have an explanation for that. And then all of a sudden, all of this. So clearly it was happening then. I just didn't know. Because it played itself out, or it repeated. I don't know how you would explain that. I mean,
glitch in the matrix.
Yeah, and my dogs. See, the key to this whole thing is my dogs reacted.
Yeah.
Okay, because they see everything. They were key in my addiction when all that crap was going on in my house. They are God bless them, because they really do help you with your sanity sometimes.
Agree. Yeah.
So that's my story. I just wanted to add it.
Thanks, Dawn.
You're welcome.
Okay, I just want to address what's going on in the chat room here, because I'm distracted. I'm sorry. There was just an earthquake off of Japan. It's in Japan, in Honshu region, which is an area that's gets a lot of earthquakes. Now, if they're saying, now someone's saying Fukushima, so it is 92 kilometers southeast of Fukushima, but again, this is an area that gets them all the time. I'm trying to get the exact coordinates on it, on the map, and the fucking EMSC is not being helpful. They've just strangely enough, much like the USGS, the EMSC has also changed their layout. So now you can't do the kind of pull-ins that you used to be able to do to pinpoint exactly where the damn earthquakes happened. Honshu gets a lot of earthquakes. It is a very, very prone to earthquakes. It's probably the most earthquake-prone region in Japan. So a 6.8, if it was a 7.3, here, hold on. Jerry's just pulled me up the link. I'm just pulling it up now. If it was a 7.3, then they've upgraded it. No, they're saying a 6.9, a 6.8, and it's just off the coast. Do we have a tsunami warning? Someone said there was a tsunami warning. I do not see one listed here. And none of the links are working. Okay, that's kind of bizarre. So yeah, it's not an unusual place for earthquakes to happen. And it was a 43-kilometer depth, which is also not an unusual depth. So I just wanted to address it just because everyone's talking about it in the chat room. So.
Oh, and you want to talk about saying that the repeats as well.
The whole weird weather shit type stuff. We had a cyclone here in Malta last week. Got some really, really interesting pictures of it, too, let me tell you.
Well, actually, the New Zealand stuff is interesting. So, I mean, for those, I don't know if anyone's ever done this, how many of you guys have done this, but there is can you close the door, please, darling? There's a website called Zeta Talk, which is supposed to be from Zeta Reticuli, little greys. And they have what they call the 7 of 10. and they talk about earth changes. And one of the things they talk about is that New Zealand will rise up, and that under the water that we can't see, New Zealand and Australia are actually joined up, and that New Zealand will rise, and as a result, Australia will tip, and Australia will lose the entire west coast, and New Zealand and Australia will kind of rise up and become, I think, the largest continent and all joined up. So, of course, that got a lot of traction when this recent business in New Zealand happened, because on one point of the coast it rose up out of the ocean 2 meters. You guys have seen that. There were some very strange goings on. At the time of that earthquake, and just prior to that earthquake, strange lightning shows that just weren't quite normal lightning, the whole bit. One of the very first things that Lulu did when she popped in to my computer was show me the Chatham Island area. And she said, bad place, bad place. And I asked about it yesterday. And according to one of the people from back there I spoke to, they are actually building an underwater city there. Not just a base, but a city in that Chatham Island area off New Zealand. There are apparently have been for a while, because they're a little bit worried about their underground bases, just in case they get buried alive under there. So apparently they're building something underwater over there.
And very interestingly, the Chatham Islands just happen to be exactly opposite where the earthquake in New Zealand was. I mean, literally draw a line directly across and put a slide rule on it. I mean, yeah.
All right, I'm getting asked for Lulu updates, so we will get to that. Let's get through everybody's comments first. So JJ, you're unmuted.
Hello. It's working this time.
Yeah, hello.
Can you hear me?
How you doing?
Good. I'm a noob here. I'm sort of a first timer, but I have a series of observations I've been making for years now about the energetic buildup, or whatever you want to call it. It seems like the energy rises, and then levels out and hangs at that level for a while. So we get acclimated, I guess, to it. And then it rises and rises and rises, and then levels out and at this new upper level, and it just does this stair-step thing, up and up and up and up, and we get a chance in the middle to acclimate to these ever-increasing energies. I've been noticing this for years and years, physically as well as mentally, blah, blah, blah. And what I've noticed recently is this process is continuing. It's not stopping. It's just going up and up and up and up and up in sort of stair-step fashion. Well, the accumulation of all this energy that we're experiencing is having more profound, more widely widely experienced effects. It's kind of like side effects from, think of it in terms of a drug kind of a deal, or interaction between energy and systems and us being a system. But the point is that I've been noticing this since 2010, 2012, since when I first started paying attention to you, Lisa, and also to Danny, when I first got turned on to all that, and I've been sort of following you in the background. The thing is, the energetic upsteps seem to be coming from without, in other words, externally, but also from within. In other words, there's an internal step up or matching to the external energies, so that you could say we're morphing from inside out and also outside in. The bottom line, at least for me, and what I've noticed, is people are reacting to this. I mean, my neighbors, my live-in significant other, we all have different scenarios of how we deal with these up steps. But the bottom line is that most people aren't aware of them. They're just doing their daily, thing, and they're not tracing it back to origins. In other words, where the energies are influencing them, whatever. The thing is that I'm seeing it in people around me, and it comes and goes, just the step up, and people, it seems to happen during the step ups, not when things are leveled off. So the energetic increases and people kind of go a little, and then it levels out, and people kind of go, ah, but they don't recognize the patterns. They don't see it happening in that way. I'm sort of aware of it, so I kind of see it, and it's not like everyone's doing it, but it's there nonetheless. And it's hard to say where it's going to wind up. It's hard to say where, what the end result's going to be, but it's becoming more and more and more apparent to everybody.
Are you feeling like, or are you noticing that the space between the waves, the time between the waves is getting shorter and shorter and shorter?
Yes, somewhat. Although there's a certain degree of variability in that. It's been somewhat, I won't say constant, but it hasn't been like, weeks of buildup and then weeks of, it's been more like days and days. And the days and days seem to be fairly consistent. But sometimes there's a longer period of time before the next upsurge. Like the 11th and the 14th earlier this month seemed to have a huge shift. And then it stabilized after the 14th a little bit. And then there's another upstep. And we're talking, subtle kind of woo-woo kind of stuff to a certain extent here, because you can't point to it, you can't touch it, it's all in your head, kind of rationalization kind of stuff that goes on. But the amount of the degree of energy that we're swimming in or involved in or has been impacting us hasn't dropped off. It hasn't lessened. It's just up and up and up and up and up and up. And it's very easier to acclimate to that, doing it this way. At least that's the way I see it. Then have it just, whammo up top of your head and kind of, reel and get all woozy and kind of fall on the bed or somewhere else and go, what the hell was that? So the idea is that it seems like a part of a natural process. And I'm not sure if natural is quite the right word, but it is aimed at making it easier on us to acclimate to these greater energies. Let's put it that way.
Oh, I agree. And Lisa and I have joked about this for years, back, like in 2013 when we first started doing this show. And we'd be like, oh, we're ready for it. Just bring it on, bring it on. And it's like, if we'd been dropped into the where we are now back then, I think we all would have had ourselves committed to the insane asylum.
We probably would have self-committed.
Totally self-committed. But it's like the steps, like you talked about.
Oh, yeah.
You go up a step.
And self-medicated.
Yeah, and self-medicated. But it felt like, years ago, it was like, so you went up, there's like an energetic bump, and then you'd have this to acclimate. Then there'd be an energetic bump, and then you'd acclimate. And then it got to the point where it was kind of like the steps got bigger and the time got shorter. And now we're like, it's in the reverse where it's like bump to bump, bump. The time between the step ups, if you will, seems to be getting closer and closer and closer together. And each step up seems to be a lot stronger. Like it's almost going exponential at this point.
Yeah, I agree. And the other thing is it's the accumulation of energy as well. So that basically we're more used to a higher energetic state, and that any addition becomes more noticeable, and the step up itself, the step itself tends to be more in your face. because of the accumulation, not because, at least to me, at least the amount of the step is noticeable, but because the energetics have moved up so much over the years, there's more there.
It's like we're more sensitive to the subtleties.
Yeah.
As opposed, used to have to be extreme to get our attention, but as we're getting, I don't know, as we're becoming more attuned or whatever, we're more sensitive just to the little subtleties now. And it doesn't have to smack you over the head anymore. Or maybe it feels like it does.
Just does.
Anyway, but it's, yeah. No, I'm with you there.
The thing is that a lot of people are going to react according to their natures. Their gifts, whatever. In other words, whatever they're clued into and sensitive to, and or that's part of who they are. And these energetics are going to, and have been emphasizing and sort of making them more real for them. Oftentimes they don't see it as that. They don't recognize this as a process that they're going through. It's just that other people around them can see it that way, or at least notice the fact that they're a little more, out there, or a little more this or a little more that. I mean, I see it in my neighbors. I see it in the tales and the stories I hear from my significant other when she comes back from work, that kind of stuff. So it's happening in the general population. It's not just us, quote, sensitives, if you will.
Well, it's like you said at the earlier points, the sensitives maybe, or those who were tuned into and looking for and waiting for it, they would get it. But now we're to the point where, someone used the analogy of the pressure cooker, where the temperature has now gotten so high that you can't ignore it. Like even some of the most asleep people are starting to literally, they have to take note. It's becoming so outrageous in some ways that, like you say, the general population is feeling these effects, and they may be completely confused and not understand it, but they're feeling it nonetheless.
Yeah, I agree completely. And oftentimes they're pointing fingers, not at themselves and not at their circumstance or situation, but at the external, somebody else. It's, the usual blame game or whatever you want to call it. But
yeah,
it's hard to say when it's, I won't say peak, but it seems like it's building to a break-even point, or maybe there's a better word, a point where no one can deny it. In other words, it's going to become so obvious and in your face that there's no choice but to say, what the hell is going on? And they don't see the buildup. They may not ever tie into the fact that this has been ongoing for years and years and years, but all of a sudden, bam, and to me, that kind of is a way of talking or describing the event. Something's going to happen. It's going to be undeniable, although people will still deny it. Some will. But the point is, it's going to be a mass awakening, if you will, or at least, tap on the head and go, doing, what the hell was that? Didn't see it coming, had no clue what it was. All of a sudden, oh, and then what do you do? Or what do they do? The sensitives will go, well, I've been expecting this. Why did it take so long? Blah, 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 blah.
We've been waiting for years.
I've been waiting for decades. I mean, this should happen in the mid-90s. This should happen, ... all the way back. The fact that it's taking so long is a point of contention for many of us. I just wish we'd get it over with, but I can understand why it's taking so long, because these kinds of energies would probably make people go just completely nutso. I mean, lose all orientation and connection with reality as they thought they knew it, because it's not and never has been, but that's what people hold on to with almost a death grip sometimes, just to be able to, put one foot in front of the other and continue to do what they do. The energies are, in a sense, going to force people to say, oh, wait a minute, there's something going on here that that I had no clue about, but all of a sudden it's in my face. I can't deny it. And everyone else is noticing it too. So I'm not crazy, or at least any crazier than those people over there. And what do we do about it? And that's when us sensitives, I guess, are going to have to step up and go, well, we've been paying attention to this stuff for a long time. This is what you can do about it, or at least a way of perceiving it. Meanwhile, the energies, I think, are going to continue to do this step up thing. And eventually, at least, I'm grabbing at straws in this one, so I'm kind of like, huh? But if I extrapolate, it's going, as I said earlier, the energies are coming from without and then also coming from within. So they're meeting in a place or in a space in our head or in ourselves, and that's transformative. When the basic foundation that we're immersed in or standing on or involved in is morphing, but also our orientation and our ability to know ourselves is morphing. Between the two of them, I think it's called new humans or something, you know, a new form of existence down here in this gravity well. Well, I think I've talked enough. I'll let others step up. But thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thanks for chiming in.
My pleasure.
Yeah. And I agree with just about everything said. So, okay, lower hand. We've got Amber. I'll unmute you, Amber.
Hi.
Hi. You're going to have to speak up a bit, I think.
Okay. Well, I shared on the UU room and I shared in the LMH about my dream last night, and I have, I've been kind of disconnected from everything here for the last couple of days because I have an incredible person that's come here to stay here for a while. And anyway, I knew there was this chat you all did with Donna and Danny and yourself, and I hadn't listened to it until early this morning. And I shared in the LMH, and okay, so anyway, it was so powerful, the energy of this and the synchronicity of this, to like dismantling batteries and unplugging and pouring out dirty water, and it is really, really, we are so on this edge of this happening, and I'm just in awe of the synchronicities of it, and how it played out in my dream and waking. I mean, that first part of my dream was like, I wasn't even a dream. I'd just fallen asleep, and then I saw this huge starburst or sunburst or thing in my vision, and it just like, I woke up and shot up straight in the bed and said, what the fuck was that? And then I went back to sleep and had this other whole thing of being I was in a hospital bed, and I was being with my cells, my other cells, many other cells, like they all looked like me, and they were all working very diligently to try to unplug the hospital wires and the contraptions, the machines that were like keeping me in a certain state of like unconsciousness and drugged. And then we took and wrapped up certain parts of the machines and took them away and brought me out of that place, that hospital room or whatever. And I woke up again, and it was like, oh wow, oh my God. And then I went and got my iPad and turned it on and listened to y'all's chat from the other day, you three and John. And I go, oh my God, oh my, this is like we're unplugging. We are doing this now. We are completely unplugging. We're dismantling the batteries that have kept us here. We are creating this whole new space and opening for us to move out of here. I just wanted to share that. It was so powerful. Pardon?
Quite literally. Physically even.
What's that?
Unplugging, I meant.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
It's, yeah, literal and physical, this unplugging. So see, that's what I mean, that theme of these experiences, I'm just seeing them everywhere at the moment. And they do date back to prior to anything that we've put out sharing them. I didn't see it as a theme until the last week. And these are from people who have never experienced anything like this, never had a lucid dream, don't even really dream even. But this theme of waking up somewhere else, and it's kind of a hospital environment. It's just bizarre. So there's got to be something to it.
I am so excited Lilu's contacting you again.
All right.
Oh, come on.
I'll get to that now, just in case we run out of time.
Okay, thank you for letting me share with y'all.
No, thank you, because we need as many people to share these stories as possible so that they can act as a support for others. I mean, for someone who has no idea what's going on and perhaps comes across that story, it will save them from checking themselves in and committing themselves or self-medicating, hopefully. So thank you. Okay. Updates. There's been
Don't look at me. I have no idea where to even start. So, and I've missed most of the recent conversations because they are happening just before I'm waking up. So,
well, as you know, if you're making coffee, can I have one, please? We were getting a lot of PSYOP calls, whether it was people who were pretending to be Lilu and company, or whether it was gods, literally.
yeah, you know, I was really tempted today to actually spool up that last one, just to play it for everyone.
Well, which one?
The one where the nasty guy who came on at the end and you don't know power and all that shit.
You don't know power, little girl.
You don't know power, little girl. Fuck this. I was almost just because I was like, and I was like, you know what? It's so fucking horribly, disgustingly dark and everything. I was like, no, I don't want to inflict that on anyone. Very demonic. He thinks he's God. He thought he was God, but it was really like about as guttural, low class as you could possibly get.
So some of these were clearly, you know, humans, you know, doing text to type and misspelling and, you know, voice distortion and whatever. Some of them really, you know, may well be who they say they were. So that was going on a lot.
Yeah, there was a lot of fake calls, a lot of fake communications from, I don't know, God knows.
And then a few days ago, I can't remember, 2 or 3 days ago, 3 days ago, it does appear that Lilu is maintaining observation of me and what's going on. I was in a conversation with Donna and somebody else from the UU room because I was concerned about them. And one of the people from home piped in, which was by the name of Moira. And so that started that conversation. And then 2 days ago, again, I was having a conversation with just Darius. And Moira piped in and answered my question that I put to Darius. So a conversation ensued, and what we came to was that Lulu, Jefferson, Alex, Oliver had apparently, and this is kind of funny, you got to admit, due to their love and affection for us.
The over-exuberance?
Had conspired amongst themselves a little plot to come and get us, literally come and get us. And they apparently commandeered some ships that they weren't supposed to, and tried to keep this little plan a secret, and they got caught. And the way the community works over there is very sort of consensus, you know. And it was a very dangerous proposition for them. They knew that. They told us that because they would have to take on the militaries and take the risk of actually getting stuck inside the construct and all of that. But they were prepared to take the risk. And the community felt that it wasn't worth the risk at this point, and that they were too close to the situation, too emotionally involved, and to be making sort of rational decisions. So they were put in the naughty corner, so to speak.
Yeah,
and
they were grounded.
They were grounded. So in the conversation 2 nights ago, Donna and I shared that, well, that's not really fair on us. You know, if you're telling us you want us to, you know, feel into home, feel into what's going on outside this construct, and then take away the one point of reference that we have for that. And they hadn't thought about that before, apparently. So they allowed Lilu to come back on. And I have to say, Lilu was definitely the original Lilu that I made contact with. No question for me. She was in a very good mood as a result of being able to speak to us again. She was very happy. She even told some jokes. And I asked about New Zealand, and that's where I got the answer about them building their underground base there. What else was discussed? Oh, and at one point 2 nights ago in the conversation, yes, little evil voice cut in. Lilu was able to block it, apparently, and when I asked her to trace its origins, she said, what I'm getting is literal Mayan hell. And I said, what's that? And she said, I don't know. That's just the words I'm getting.
Say that again?
Literal Mayan hell.
Hell.
And it's a place in Mexico. It's a cave system in Mexico that was discovered. I don't know, Mad Tom did a bunch of research and put some posts in the IMAC members area about it. Yes, literal Mayan, as in M-A-Y-A-N. Mayan, yeah.
It's okay, I can translate Aussie. It's okay.
As the location for the interference. So, who knows what that means? Have the agency set up a nice little base down there? Maybe. Kind of an out of the way place. Yes, apparently they did, Teresa. The Mayan just disappeared. What did the evil voice say? I actually couldn't make much of it out to even say it. And as soon as it started, we just went, "Oh, not you. You're boring. Go away." And Lulu just went, "Okay, blocking," and did her best to block it out. Not giving that any energy whatsoever.
Mm.
What else is there? Okay, so in terms of now, again, this is just a story, right? We have got nothing, no proof, nothing to back up who they are or where they say they are, or this storyline that we're being presented. So everybody just has to feel into it for themselves and find out if there's any truth in it for them. But the story is this. Yes, we're in a construct. This construct is collapsing. It's a construct that we created that was in fact invaded. That the people who are in here right now come from a variety of places. So you've got what we call the originals, who are the humans from back home, what we're calling home, where Lulu and crew are, who were in the construct at the time that it was invaded. And even in amongst that, there are two types. There are those who physically walked into the construct, body and all.
Yes.
And then there are those who are in the construct virtually, like playing a game by putting on a helmet and your visors. So of the originals, like I said, two types. You've either got a body back home and you will be waking up into that body, or you walked into here physically and you need to find a way to walk out. So there's that. And
yes, like Avatar. So yeah, that's a good way of putting it, Tracy. Exactly. So those who are purportedly have come in through consciousness, it's kind of like the Avatar thing, where their consciousness has been there in a bed, a tank, a tube, a pod, a something, and their consciousness came into the construct. Someone is unmuted, I think. Just do a mute all, and I'll unmute. Mercy, I have no idea. No. Mercy just asked, how do we know how do we know if we're brought in physically or just consciously? I don't know. I was told, Lulu told me, Moira told me, I can't remember now, that I walked in with Lisa, that we actually physically walked into the construct.
Now, for me, the visions and the memories that I have consciously that I've known about for years, that I've even had while awake and walking around my house or disconcertingly driving my car, is that there is this thing that opens up in front of me and I literally walk into another world. But I don't know. Have you had any experiences either way? Are you having these ones where you're waking up in another reality, or have you ever had dreams or visions about how you just walk out? That truth is, back home, they don't know how this is going to play out because it's never happened before. This has never happened before, ever, in any construct. They don't know, for those who are asleep back home, they don't know if the physical body here will seem to die because your consciousness is just shifted straight out of it, or whether it will actually just sort of dematerialize. They don't know. Because when the construct was created and playing the way it was supposed to play, it would dematerialize. It would disappear because your consciousness wouldn't be running it anymore. And it was just created. That's what I got. And Donna might be able to tell me if I'm wrong on that. Who's got the fucking key? Come on, own up. Yeah. Somebody lost the keys.
Look, I pressed the button. I pressed the button Friday night. I don't know, maybe there's a delay switch on it.
Sounds okay to me. Okay. Just trying to think what else there is in terms of updates.
Yeah. What if you've never felt right in your skin, in your life, in your family, and everything? Yeah, I know that feeling. I know that feeling very well. Don't feel anything about this. Okay, I have a question to ask everyone. This kind of came to me, and this is actually, when my memory works at all, because, apparently I'm losing it. I want to know if anyone else is experiencing loss of memory to do with their past. As in, all of a sudden, it's like your past is just almost erasing, disappearing. And if you try to you think to a time span, you go, okay, I'm going to think about the year I did X, right? And you pick a year. And then you start thinking about it, whether it's even something as important as a child, right? Like one of your kids, and you try and almost run a chronological memory of well, they did this and did this and this. It's literally, it almost feels like my memories are erasing.
There is an overwhelming yes in the chat room.
I'm so good. I'm glad I'm not alone, guys, because everyone is just like, oh my God, yes. But this is it. My memory, I have we talk about this a lot, and Lisa will tell you, I have a fucked up brain. I have a very bizarre brain. And I can tell you, if you ask me where the nail clippers are, I can look at you and say they're on the dresser drawer on the right-hand side at the very front of the dresser drawer. If you ask me where certain things are, I can tell you to the exact location of where they are. That's where my brain works. But memories, I always file information away. I have the brain full of bullshit information, right? Like it's a fucking filing system, and I can call up dates and times and all the rest of it. The pieces that I've put in there as for example, news stories, because of course that's what I do, they're all still there. I still can tell you clearly certain dates and times and when articles came out and news pieces came out. But in my personal life, it's like all of a sudden, my childhood is almost non-existent now. We were joking about high school. I was joking with a person here, a lady I know here, whose daughter and my daughters are really, really good friends. And they were talking about, oh man, the high school is just such a bummer. And I was like, yeah, high school fucking sucks. And I actually thought about it and was like, I have almost no memories of high school anymore. There's a few obvious, big events that happen, but it literally is like it's fading away. It's graying out.
My teenage years apparently lasted for a week. If I was to add up my childhood and teenage years up to leaving school, I could probably account for, if you add them all together, maybe 7 days. Maybe.
Well, this is it. I have, my little sister was hit by a car when I was 10, and she spent the entire summer in hospital. So, I can remember that incident because obviously I was with her when she got hit by the car. It was a traumatic, horrific experience that I remember. But then I was talking to a friend of mine a few weeks ago, and I was heavily involved in the music department of our school, and our school had a very, very, very famous, very well-known music department. And I was involved in the orchestra, the choir, the chamber choir, you name it, every aspect of the music department. And a friend of mine said to me, someone I went to high school with, was like, oh, you know what song I just heard on the radio? I just heard someone perform. I can't even remember the name. It's a French name of the song. And I was thinking about that time. Do you remember when you sang the solo for that? And I'm like, no. And she was like, yeah, for the Kiwanis Festival. And you had to sing the solo because like, and I was like, and I had to think, and I was like, fuck, I remember the song. Fuck yeah, I did. Oh, wow. But I mean, this should have been something that you would think as a high school student, that would be like one of those highlights.
Yeah, totally.
Like, you know, and if this person hadn't have said it, if my girlfriend hadn't have reminded me of it, would have totally been gone. Totally fucking gone. And it's
so
like,
it's only now. There is only now. It's like all these cycles and resets and history, and it's just all fading away.
There's only now. And even now I'm a little hazy on it. Really? Even now I'm a little hazy on it. But at least even this 5 months we were in Australia, the kids are always talking about little things and, oh, dude, we did this, we did that. And I'm like, I could possibly account for maybe 2 weeks of my time in Australia.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
It's fucking gone. It's just like Morocco. It's like I think we were in Morocco for like 3 fucking years. It's kind of just.
I get it.
Good. Okay, so I'm really, really glad that I'm not the only one, because everyone is sitting here going like, me too, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just the chat room's going freaking insane at the moment. Yeah, I find it really, really fucking interesting. Yeah, I think it is a good sign. I think that that's even if you talk about, let's say that, let's use the analogy of us, like we've talked about the overlays and the layers, if you will, depending, or timelines, or whatever you want to call it. As we're leaving those ones, as we're falling through them, going through them, etc., and getting closer and closer to base, if you will, the first, the original, whatever. As we come through, I think that's why the memories are disappearing, and maybe we only are keeping like just the most intense, really visceral ones are remaining, but it's almost like a memory of a memory. Do you know what I mean? Like
a book you read once, or a movie you saw once, or so. It's not. I don't even.
It's like you've told the story so many times that you've just reconstructed it, but the actual original memory is almost gone.
Yep. And I personally see it as a good thing, because I think it is because all of these layers and constructs and alternatives and timelines and freaking scripts and whatever we want to call them are gone.
Yeah.
And we also went through that period where we felt like we were, that seems to have calmed down actually, which is interesting now that I think about it, integrating other aspects and fractals of ourselves.
Yeah, I haven't had that feeling in a while actually. Interesting.
Oh.
Well, okay, so let's talk about maybe phases then, because there have been phases, so that whole integrating fractal aspects of ourselves, et cetera, because that was a big one, and there was a lot of people.
Memories as a result.
And then all of a sudden, then we talk even about the Mandela effect. I mean, literally, I don't give a flying fuck about the Mandela effect shit. I'm just really not interested in even tracking it for the most part now. But it seems to me that if there were huge Mandela effect things going on, I would know about it, like, because it would get brought up in the unfuckers room. It would be, people would be sending me the, oh my God, did you see? I'm not seeing that now. I'm not. Are these parts of the layers as we go through the layers? Yeah.
Yeah.
The collapse of the actual construct.
Yeah. Because it does. We have been experiencing phases, themes, memes.
Okay, Donna, absolutely. Donna just said, this is all about time, and the time loop is dissolving, or rather us moving away from it. And I was trying to read that fast because the chat's going so fast I couldn't keep up with it. Yeah, I mean, time is a construct. Time is part of the construct. And if that construct is dissolving, then time, as we think of it, even in the way of linear memories, is disappearing too.
I'll be back.
You're running away. Awesome. Yeah, that's actually very, very interesting. I hadn't thought of it that way. I'm glad I brought that up. Your time is dissolving, and there's nothing to anchor to. Dawn, I totally get it. Right now, okay, I'm going to bring something else up too. I want to hear from you guys on this. The more I disconnect, the more I step back and stay in observer mode, not attaching to anything, the more ropes, the more fishing hooks feel like they're being cast out to try and pull me into something. I had this conversation with Nick tonight, and I looked at this last 4 weeks, and I said to him, I said this, I look as I've disconnected from various pieces. And I've watched, it's almost like as I disconnect, the ropes are being thrown out, like, and there'll be a slew of people tossing me things to get my interest. Like I've had, what, Lise?
Get involved, get attached, get concerned. Get.
Do you know how many people have sent me messages about
what you're doing?
RV? I've had so many messages in the last 2 weeks that deal with the RV, and I'm like, I'm not involved anymore. I haven't been involved in the whole global currency revaluation stuff in ages. I'm really, really, really separated out from that stuff. There was a whole bunch of messages that came in from people. It was like, what do you think about this? What do you look at this article here? What is your thoughts on this? Because normally my go-to would be, okay, well, I'll go track it down, and I'll go, well, okay, let me go see what I can find. I have had people throwing me links to pieces of information that 6 months ago I would have been like, oh, I'm going to have some fun with this. And I've downloaded documents and stuff like that. And then it's like, oh, well, what other, yeah, I can't be bothered. No. And then this weekend, I had a play out in my personal life that was like a desperate attempt to draw me into something, to draw me into something that would distract me, that would make me attach to a certain energy. And I just was like, no, I'm not going there. I'm just not going there. But it seems like the more I detach away from other things, the more the lines are being thrown out to try and reattach me to something, anything. And I mean anything in so much as sorry, I'm just reading in the chat room. The dramas, the political shit for me, I no attachment to it. I don't care about it. It just, you know, the dramas that is playing out, I'm sorry, the little dramas that are playing out in Unfuckers here and there. I'm so not attached to it right now. And I've watched certain things are playing out, and I'm not getting drawn in. I have no need to get drawn in. But yet, more lines get sent out. In observation mode.
Well, I think that's going to happen more and more as we disconnect. Okay, hang on. Apparently my internet's a bit dodgy. Hang on a second.
Yeah, you're breaking up, Lise. I'm sorry. I was just going to say something too. Ha ha. everything that I see playing out is in the construct. Everything. So whether it's someone talking about politics, global politics, etc., it's all within the construct. Whether it's people arguing over this belief system, over that belief system, over this is what I'm seeing, etc., it's part of the construct. Whether, and all of these things that are going on, it just keeps coming back to me. It's like, it's all part of the construct. It's all part of the matrix. Whether, like we always joked about, you know, flat earth, globe earth, doesn't matter. It's still part of the construct. And that to me has become more and more concrete to me, solid.
Apparently there is a tsunami happening right now. Is that true?
Is the tsunami a hit? Has anyone got, hold on, I'll go back to my live links. I was trying to look up links and I was having a bitch of a time.
Apparently yes, in Japan right now.
Okay, hold on.
That's 3 foot.
Yes. Hold on, I'm trying to get to this. USGS has changed their whole fucking website around. So again, it's like, fuck. Monitoring. Where is the tsunami page for USGS? Gone.
While you're looking for that, Donna, is there anything I've forgotten to share that you know of? There is the flip side, that, and whether this is again just another hook to get me to, I don't know, focus on the construct again. But there are many people who like to point out to me that this whole Lulu thing is a psyop, and they want us to not focus on this reality for a reason. And it's a valid question to ask, I guess. Certainly one I have asked. But I have to keep going back to what's in to me and what feels right to me. And my disconnect from what we would call nature or Mother Earth or any of that stuff happened a while ago. Starting to see it as, I don't know, like a bad photocopy of what I felt was possible, what I felt was real, happened some time ago. So either this is, yeah, I mean, we all just have to make our own decisions. We all just have to tune in and see what feels right for us. I still, to this day, have not, I mean, I still, like I said before, I cannot prove anything. They can't prove. They may or may not be who they say they are, but still to this day have not seen anything nefarious or harmful come out of the information or the contact or the relationship, whatever you want to call it. To me, it's only been beneficial. So no matter who they are, I think they have our best interests at heart. I believe they do. I feel they do. Even if it is, you know, about a bunch of white hat humans somewhere, they still seem to have our best interests at heart. So yes, that's who I'm talking about, Gigi. We have not been, I have not been, at least what I know of traditional psyops, this is not playing to that script. I've not been told what to do, asked to do anything. I've not been asked to put any information out, or except by the ones who clearly were the psyop.
They were very demanding that we put out information, yes.
Yes. Yeah, for me, it's been purely positive experience.
And
I get it that nobody wants to be made a fool of.
Yeah.
I get it. No one wants to be at the other end of this going, fuck, I believed in it. I'm such a dick. I understand that. No one wants to go there. No one wants to be embarrassed at the end of this, but it turns out not to be what it says.
Been there, done that.
Yeah. But we will never know if we don't play.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
For me?
And as long as it's positive, I don't see the harm.
Yeah. For me, I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced that Lilu is exactly who she says she is. I haven't seen proof, substantial, tactile, if you will, proof. Do I want it to be true? Absolutely. Not even a question. And I just stay in observer mode. For me, that is I am observing and I'm watching and I'm interacting. And I don't see, there has been nothing that I have seen that is negative to me.
I have had experiences and that translate into this physical construct that are either some of the most extraordinary coincidences I've ever experienced, or they are able to affect the construct in some way. No? But it's personal and I'm not sharing. So that's it. That's all I've got on that one. Donna, if you did answer me, I have no idea if you wrote something in the chat.
I didn't bother because the chat goes too fast. One piece of news that did come through was that this particular week, a lot of people have been breaking down, like that pressure cooker we're talking about. And we were sort of feeling, well, a couple of months ago, we felt very, almost where Danny is talking about now, very centered and disconnecting, disengaging. And then this week, there was a lot of breakdown and confusion. So we asked the question, why are we feeling, you know, a little bit lost and confused right now? And they said, as the construct is breaking down and we are moving closer to them, it's like we're getting a bleed through of not just our emotions, but their emotions, because they're going through their own levels of trauma and emotion of feeling like they want to help and they don't know how. They have, you know, their own levels of confusion, and the two of them are sort of blending. So some of what we're picking up is that. And for me personally, I'm seeing like at least 4 things at play. I'm seeing us moving closer to this whatever, I don't care what you want to call it, you know, home, the construct, the matrix, the control systems collapsing. I'm seeing the chaos of these storylines trying to grab us and bring us in and engage us in drama. I'm seeing you know, there's just a whole lot going on all at once, and it's a little bit difficult at the moment to separate them all because they're all happening at once. But yeah, that was one of the things that they did say was, you know, that we are starting to pick up on their emotions. And a lot of people have been talking about them like, you know, they're supposed to be gods and they're supposed to have all this together and they're supposed to think of everything. They're supposed to have it all, knowing, you know, every answer together. And what they've been saying the whole time is, we are you. You are family. And look at us. We don't all agree. We argue. We fight. We go in different directions. We have
emotions.
Yeah, we go through emotions. We have breakdowns. We cry. We grieve. We feel like that, you know, my whole life I felt like, you know, all I've wanted is to be going home, and I didn't know what home was. They are just human Like, they're not gods. They're not perfect. They're not trying to be perfect. They've never once said to us, we have all the answers. They say, well, we're trying to figure it out. We don't know what's going on. We're like, it's that. Some ways we do know more than what they know on some levels, because we're the ones that have been in here. You know, we've gone through this experience. We're the ones that have been creating. They don't have any, they haven't been here. They don't know what that is like for us. So they don't quite know how to see where we fit and how much some things have to be pointed out to them, because they really don't get what we've gone through.
No.
And that's something
they have no
that
clue.
People say, well, we don't need saviors. They're not trying to be. And then as soon as they say something that's imperfect, well, how could they fuck up, you know? Excuse the language, but how could they not know? Well, because they're not trying to say they have all the answers. They're trying to work with us. And the only thing that keeps coming through is connect to your heart. Connect to your heart. Be in your heart. Or is that a psyop? You know, and I will say, for me, I've been along this journey in a lot of these calls, and I've not said things to Lisa. Certain things I have kept from her and everyone. I haven't said it, typed it, spoke it, not on a telephone. And in this week, I particularly said, well, you know what, you have to show me something from Jefferson that, you know, is beyond something we've written, something we've typed, something we've talked about. And he came on and he told me about something that was happening on a nightly basis that I said no one shared. And that was a relationship that I was having with, you know, I wasn't talking about, and he was again repeating it all and telling me what was happening and what my reactions were. I don't need more proof than that. I don't need my connection to someone I have in the UU room or in the real world, and I have a deep connection that goes beyond that shallowness of exchanging information with something that doesn't have a heart, to tell me that person's real and I'm connected to them. And that's something we feel on a much deeper level within us. And the reason why we became unfuckers and we saw the fuckery is because we went through that process. We kind of, over the years, have figured out when we're being messed with and when we're not. And even if we've gone along with it and there's something in the back of our mind going, oh, I'm being messed with, oh, I don't know, I don't trust this. No, sometimes that doesn't happen, and you've just got to trust that deep inner knowing. And I think it's easier for us to say that simply because we've got that direct connection. For others who are just observing what we're saying and what we're experiencing, I get that there could be a lot more doubt involved. But yeah, that's where I'm at with it. And, you know, that made, you know, they answered some questions for me this week, you know, about things that had me confused, that left me going, I'm clear. I was able to let go and just go back into that, you know, I'm at peace again. So I was putting myself through that ringer. But I don't see that, even if it's it can't be a psyop, in my opinion, in the sense of CIA, because it just doesn't follow that agenda. If it is human hackers, then they're really interesting. They've got really good advice. They've got incredible wisdom, and I'm enjoying listening to them. And if they are who they say they are, they're not telling us to do anything we weren't already heading towards as a collective. So it's just sped the process up a little bit and given us a collective vision, if you will, to work towards. Anyway, my 2 cents.
No, the one thing I'll add to what you just said, Donna, like what you were saying at the beginning, is the fact that one of the things Moira said was that they haven't experienced this before either. This is a first time. They don't have the answers because they've never been through this either. So they don't have the answers as clear cut, like here's, you got to do step A, step B, step C, step D, because we've done through the, we've done this before. They don't have the answers either. They're the first ones to say, Moira said it, of we've never done this before. This is the first time it's ever happened.
And apparently in terms of waking up over there, that's only just started to happen recently, that people are starting to come to for moments at a time. So there is...
You mean people who are here in the construct, but their bodies are there?
Yeah. According to Moira, that's only just started happening. So there are these moments where people are coming to over there. So there's a whole flurry of new activity happening over there all the time too, based on what's going on with us. Have they, Nicole's asking, have they tried to send us mental images or messages? Yes, they do. Is it possible that we ourselves have made a pre-recorded message for ourselves to help? I'm asking in regards to a dream I had recently. That I don't know, but are they trying to communicate? Yes.
Because they were separated, Dawn. They were completely separated. That was one of the very first conversations that they had. Dawn asked, why would what happened here have ever been kept? Oh crap, the chat room, stop for a second. Ever be kept from them in the first place? That was one of the main revelations that happened early on in the calls. The first time we spoke to Alex and Jefferson, they didn't know who we were. They didn't know that we, their family, friends, co-workers, etc., were here and we're awake and we're waking up.
They lost our signatures, they said. They couldn't or track us inside the matrix anymore because our energetic signatures had been kind of overlaid, that they couldn't find us anymore.
We got a little bit more clarity on that this weekend as well, when they said not only that, but we fell in love with the game. We fell in love with playing so much that we forgot who we were ourselves. And one of the questions was, this week I've been having this thing where when I'm finding it easier to connect back to there and wake up, like even when I'm awake now, not just when I've been sleeping. And I've been seeing that when I'm consciously there, if I have a thought, my thoughts are coming up on a screen. And so I asked them, you know, is that actually happening, or is that just me trying to find perspective? And they said, no, that's happening. And I said, well, if you could do that, then how did you not know what I was thinking this whole time? And she said her answer and response was, because it's only when our awareness taps into home that they make the connection, and that comes up. When we're not being aware of it or focusing on it, they've got nothing.
What does that mean, Dawn?
Say that again, Lise. I didn't hear you.
Dawn put a question there or a comment, and I don't really understand.
Well, can you hear me, Lisa?
Yes,
barely.
I don't know what's wrong with this. Let me get close. Cool. All right, can you hear me?
Yep, better.
I don't know. I just, you know, I go back to the storyline of, you know, whoever hijacked this place knew exactly how it was being run, you know, knew how it was set up, part of the group, so to speak, one that went wrong. I don't think enough spoken about this side of things. Yeah, maybe we got lost, but there's a bigger picture as to why we got lost. At least that's how I feel. You know,
I've been starting to feel into that myself, Dawn, in that I'm actually starting to think when we were playing this game, you know, when you play a game, you've got to create something to fight against in the storyline. Even in like things like Westworld, there's that theme of there's always the enemy to fight. And we may have forgotten that we created the very thing, which is why we're saying that disconnection now, or the trickster involved, or whatever it might be, that may be the storyline we created. And we've forgotten that. And that's what's been coming to me recently, is that there might not actually be invaders or viruses. We may have created them. and we've been fighting them and in themselves they've gained their own life form through our creation because we created this to play it out to the point where that very thing literally was mind wiping us, so we forgot we were even playing a game, and we don't realize that we can end it and it's in our hands. And I think that's what's been coming through to me a little bit more clearly. I don't know if I'm correct. I'm not saying that's the way it is. I'm just saying that's a thought that I'm feeling through at the moment, or a thought process.
See, I think a little different. You know, I think we got hijacked by royalty, basically. And I think in some instance, I know that we're all family, but I think that in their effort to not destroy this particular being, we have been caught in some bullshit. And I don't think enough is talked about that. So no, I don't agree, but that's okay because, you know, we all have our part. But I don't have those that doesn't resonate with me at all.
Well, it does with me a bit because for a while now I've been playing with the idea that everything that is in our perception, everything that we can conceive of, is actually our creation. And that includes bloody Dracos and reptiles and demons and God knows what else. Whether they're thought forms that we created that became life forms, that became something, whatever, who knows. So I've personally been playing with that idea ever since for, I don't know, maybe 2 years. And that if we did create something, thought form or being or whatever, to act as contrast, it is possible that it became self-aware and realised it was playing in somebody else's game and had to play by somebody else's rules and didn't like that. Based on some of the doings that we've done recently, I got to a point where I felt like everything that we were chasing was a fractal of one thing. It all came down to one source, one being, one thought form, one whatever, that was just continuously fractalizing and getting us to chase our tails over here and there. And it's the same stories over and over again, whether it's your Enki and Enlil or your bloody who knows what, right throughout our perceived history. Same story. Change the name of the characters.
Yep, they're just names.
And they're stories and they're shadows for us to chase and figure out. And if we created this one thing, then all we have to do is disengage. All we have to do is stop supporting and feeding it. And this one thing just, I mean, it may not cease to be, but it ceases to have the power, I think, the life force literally, to affect us. I know that's a
triggered
convoluted concept.
I don't know if you'll be able to say this better because it's like the memory's kind of broken, but she said something about, Moira said something about a truly source original being that created something can't be uncreated because it would cause damage to the whole. It can simply only be disengaged from. And I can't quite remember it. Do you remember that a little bit better?
Well, yeah, you asked the question of if the originals created beings or a being, can't we just uncreate it? And she said, no, you can't uncreate.
Interesting. Interesting.
But then pretty much what I just said, you can just withdraw your energy from it.
Can I say something, Lisa? This is Teresa.
Hi, Teresa.
I have my hand up, but if I don't say it now, I'm going to lose it because I'm not very good at scientific things. I'm more of a feeler, but there's something that I keep going back to, like you said, about thought forms and all these things. And I understand the huge thought of thinking that we could have, created such awful evils and atrocities. But I do completely understand this about the fractal thing and the one source and all that. And we are manifestors, but if we think of energy as vibrational things and, manifesting, if what's going on here is our energies are going more toward the love energy, that's what's getting us connected to these, people that you guys are, connecting with. Our vibrations, just like Don was saying, I understand that, but like the disengagement thing, like I posted a little scene from Labyrinth where she said, "You have no power over me," and it dissolved. It's not that it's really going to like whoever said go away or we can't destroy it, but I think disengaging from that vibration will carry us into the vibrations that we match. In other words, it will completely change our reality. Maybe we will not see them again because we're on a whole new timeline or going home or something's merging, like vibratory, like tuning a radio. If we're all tuning into the same vibration, we'll manifest those truths, even like the folks back home, that we will like merge into that place, if it makes any sense. It's not that we're destroying anything, but we're changing our vibration, and which will create what, we want to be around us. And I think everyone in here has a love for beauty and kindness and love and paradise. We've all seen the same thing. So, I mean, I just wanted to say that because I always was interested in physics, but I am not that kind of mind. I've been a hairdresser all my life. But why I was interested must be because of this. It's like tuning the radio station.
We're artists, Teresa. We are artists. We're like that guy. We're like, oh God, I can't think of his name. My mind's going foul. But in that movie where he's creating the visual beauty of the painting across there and creating his reality.
If we don't trust that, if we don't start trusting that, and trusting in the unknown, if we hold in our hearts the love and the paradise that we want to live, we will manifest ourselves into that. And maybe that is what our home actually is. It's within us. It's there. We're just trying to reach it. And I don't think we're going to reach it without love and acceptance of one another.
I love you so much, you guys. My God.
All this holy war crap going on is what's brought us to the UU to begin with. So if you can't let that go, that's what's holding us back. I mean, it's been going on for as long as we could possibly remember in all the history books. It doesn't matter how many thousands or hundreds of years it is. It's the same damn point. Stop fighting and start loving. I mean, that's it. There's nothing else. You got to trust that, period. Why everybody else, why everyone's so emotional with all this, with Lulu and everybody, is because it's so beautiful. It doesn't really even matter if it's real or not. You can feel the love, you can feel the emotion, and it's a beautiful thing. And just hold on to that. That's all you got to do. Just trust it. And I'm done. Sorry.
I'd like it to take it to just one more thought process before I finish. I know you guys probably want your show back, but just think of it like this. If we created the game and we're that powerful and we are manifestors, then it's up to us to create the way home. So we can create the end of the game. It's not about creating a new game for me. It's not about creating a new matrix where we're still in a construct, but creating the way out or creating the way home. Creating the doorway. That's what we can do.
Ben just said objective, not subjective. And I think that is a very, very major difference that a lot of people don't truly understand.
Okay, let's follow through on that. If we had if we are what we say we are, if we are these creative beings, and it's up to us to create the end of this game or the exit or whatever, how would you want to create it? What does it look like for you?
You may not want to ask me that question because I tried blowing it up today. So
I'm at the point of just saying, screw it. Let's just roll the dice. First double, 6 wins.
Nice, John. I like it. I have some loaded dice around here somewhere. Hold on. Let me just see if I can find those.
Ben's decided to show us the property. So what does it look like? Literally a portal opening up in front of you? Is it the reality just starts to disintegrate? Is it you wake up somewhere else? I mean, what is it?
I'm all for just waking up tomorrow morning and it's all over and I wake up and just have a big yawn and a big stretch and it doesn't hurt for the first time in years and I like, yeah, it's all over. Wake up in another place. Can we manifest a portal? I've been trying that for years, Lee. This is an ongoing joke for years to the point of friends of mine and I, we actually had portals, like we had papers and we'd drawn portals on the wall. We used to be like, okay, there's the portal. Now we're just going to make it happen. I agree. I think this is where our focus should go. You want to manifest something? Manifest it. Your exit. Oh yeah.
For me, it would be like a credit at the end of a game. When it's like game over, then you have the credits of all the people that played in the game, in the creators. That's the funny side for me.
Nice.
I like it. Okay. We are over time, but I'm just going to bring out one person who's got their hand up if they still want to, which is Penny. Penny, you're unmuted.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, one day when I was at the park, I was thinking, you know, I tend to overthink things, so I was wondering how much I'm overthinking this. And so I just cleared my mind. I put my arms out, closed my eyes, quieted my mind, and just walked and said, I'm going to walk through, right? So I took like 5 steps, and it was so peaceful, and opened my eyes, and I turned my head a little bit to the left, and oh my God, I could see them. I could see them. It was like, you know, static images, you know, but I fucking was almost there.
What did you see?
Grandson was with me, so I couldn't concentrate anymore, or, you know, I couldn't go there because he was right there. So, you guys, I think we're overthinking this. It is that simple. They were there, and it was like, there was like, I can't even describe it. They were, it was such a clean space, and it was like this escalator, but not. It was more futuristic, I would say. And it was like this place. It was a peaceful place, and everybody was just doing their own little thing. It was really cool. And yes, I wanted to go there. But there again, well, what do I do with my grandson? You know, I just think we're overthinking this, and I think it's that easy. We just need to do it.
That's awesome.
Have I told you today that I love you, Penny?
Yeah. Hey, can I say one more thing about time? Oh my God, because this was so weird. I woke up Saturday and I was so discombobulated. I mean, I could tell something happened, and it affected me. I couldn't think or anything like that. So anyway, I wasn't scared, but I didn't want to go to sleep Sunday. Okay, so I stayed up and I decided to start watching this. I finished my homework, and so I started watching Netflix, right? And I was on the 3rd episode. I looked at the clock, and it was a little after 5. I want to say it was like right around 5:08. Okay, and my eyes were really tired, so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to leave that on and sleep, right? So I closed my eyes. I woke up at 5:58 because the clock's right there. So I looked at it, and I go to turn off Netflix, and I paused the series, right? And it was on. Okay, when I went to sleep, I was on the 3rd episode. When I woke up at 5:58, it was on episode 7, guys. That is a 4 fucking hour difference. It was, oh, you guys don't know how that just, and then I went back to sleep. I went ahead and turned off the TV, went back to sleep, and I kept forcing myself to remember that so that I could tell you guys, because I didn't want to forget that. But there was a 4-hour jump somewhere.
Well, that happened to a friend of ours. A friend of ours sent me, I think he actually wrote it in the Unfuckers room, John Clark, and he said he got up. This was not the Friday past, but the Friday before that, so like 10 days ago. And he got up and he looked at his clock, and it said, you know, whatever time it was that it said, say it said 5 o'clock in the morning. And he got up and he went to go have a piss. And he came back and he laid down and he looked at the clock as he laid down, and it now said 2 hours later. He's like, I just went for a pee.
Yeah, oh my God, it was so weird.
Went for a pee, that's all it was. And I had the exact same thing happen to me that exact same day, where I went to lay down to have, like, the kids were watching a movie, and it was a Disney movie, so you know they're like 95 minutes long. And whenever I go and have a lay down, I am never down for longer than an hour and a half tops. And I laid down at 1:30, or 1 o'clock, sorry, just after 1. I went and laid down. The kids were watching the movie. They were already into the movie. I got up, the clock said 3:30, and I went, yeah, no fucking way, because they were still watching the same movie, and they still had 15 minutes left in the movie when I got up and came out. So they sat and watched a 90-minute movie that had already started before I even went to go lay down. The clock says 2.5 hours went by, but when I got up, they're still watching the same movie.
Yep.
They didn't put it on again? They didn't rewind?
Nope. Nope.
We must be tearing down the time construct. That's what I think.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm muting myself. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Penny.
All right, it's time for us to go. Thank you, Penny. That was awesome.
Yes, it was.
You're right. Don't overthink it.
Nope.
Step in or wake up or whatever the hell you want.
Click your heels together 3 times.
What do you see on the other side next
no
week?
place but home.
Click my heels together.
Do you guys hear Ruby Slippers? Bye, guys.